right, so good morning. And what you guys are going to be doing today is looking at the first part of an example of an actual case of evolution that is well documented in the fossil record and other pieces of evidence that are used to support this. It's actually a three-part assignment. We'll have 2 days where we're looking at data and evidence, and then the third day where we'll write the explanation. So what you guys are going to do today is the part 1 of the whale evolution. When you log into Classroom, it will look like this. And when you open the assignment, you'll have 2 parts there. There's an assignment and a slideshow. So you'll need to open both of them because you'll need to use both of them as we're working. So yesterday when you were working, you had the seeds and you sorted them just based on different pieces of evidence or observations. So a lot of you probably chose color or size to sort them by. So what we're looking at today is we're going to look at these whales and the actual evidence that we have that shows us information about how the evolution of whales has occurred. And so you may or may not have heard this before, that whales do have, that one of their far removed ancestors is actually a land-dwelling animal. So you're going to look at some evidence to see how true that is. So the first thing that you're going to do is take a look at this case study. There's some information here that you'll look at and read. It gives you some background on whales, which are cetaceans. Okay? And as it's loading, it just gives you a little bit of background on the evidence that we're looking at. These are some of the other ancestors that are thought to be close relatives to them. And so we're looking at how that could possibly be and who maybe might be a closer relative to our whales. So first thing you need to do is think about differences between fish and mammals. So just answer that. And then think about whether whales are fish or whales are mammals. Okay? Then you're going to get into the evidence. So for the evidence, you've got some evidence here, which are different pieces of evidence that are used in evolution. So when you take a look at these pieces of evidence are looking at mammals. So this is like what we are as mammals, as humans. These are cetaceans, and then these are fish. So looking at this, you're going to then either modify or think about your answer up here and record those noticings and wonderings. Here's a tree like what you guys were looking at yesterday. So what you're going to do is as you look at this tree is showing you that there's fish, cetaceans, and then mammals, or fish, cetaceans, and mammals this way. Remember when we talked about these with the seeds, that when the branch is closer, that means they're closer related. So when we look at this would be the idea that fish and cetaceans are closer related to each other than they are to mammals. So the common ancestor to mammals and both fish and cetaceans branched off before the cetaceans branched off from fish. Or the reverse is looking at this, where we have the fish branching off first and having their common ancestor, and then the cetaceans and mammals having a closer common ancestor with the branch right here. So these two would be more alike. So thinking about your seeds, are fish and cetaceans more alike and closer together like you did with the seeds that were closer together? You put them on closer, shorter branches. The longer the branches, the farther away they are. So you have to decide tree A or tree B, and then say why you're choosing this. This is where you'll need the slideshow. So what this link will not work for you. You'll open the slideshow from your classroom because then you each have your own. When you open the slideshow, it will look like this. Okay, and you're going to use the slideshow to walk through sorting out these fossils. Okay, so you've got 4 whales that are here. Okay. Oh, I'll make sure that they're all in the right spots here for you. You're going to have them on the whale card, and you're going to move them into these groups based on which ones you think are correct. So whale M is going to be here, and then you'll have there's 3 other whales, and you're going to decide which ones go together. Okay, so you'll have your copy, and then you'll be able to move them around from the initial page with the cards to these other pages. Okay, and you're going to set them on these flat rock layers based on when you think they may be first evolved. So you'll be able to move them around and see which ones go where based on just what you're thinking with observation. Okay? And then as you're doing that, what you'll then be able to do is talk about group 1 versus group 2, which is what you'll have here. And then you'll answer some questions about how they're similar or different. And then you're going to do a Venn diagram where what were the characteristics that made group 1 different from group 2, and then what's the same between both groups. You will then look at those, do a little bit of reading about whales and answer some questions. There's a short video about vestigial structures. And then the last thing is this is going to give you the actual ages of your whales, and you'll be able to then reorder your cards as needed. But don't cheat and look at these ahead of time. Okay? And that's as far as you'll go today. Tomorrow we'll pick up with another piece of evidence and start moving through to see if there's other things that we'll figure out. Today you're just really looking at the anatomy and the fossils. Tomorrow we'll focus on the embryos and the DNA. So I hope you have a great day. If you have questions, I'm on the Zoom. I'll leave it open while you guys are working, and enjoy your day.